Welcome back. This is the 116 Life Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris. I've been gone for a little bit, had a newborn. Shout out Paul, third son. I can't make no girls. God had other plans, but I'm super excited to be here and back in this space. And I think it's kind of befitting that I'm here with some amazing people that have come together to make some great music. People that I've known for a long time, short time, even a longer time, but I feel like it all feels like family to me. So I'm not gonna introduce them. I'm gonna let them kind of introduce themselves, and then I'm gonna definitely ask them a lot of questions that I think people like you would want to hear more about their journey, their story, and all the good things we're doing here at Reach Records. So start to my left. Go ahead, man. Tell them what you do, man. Go ahead, flex all the plex too.
What? No, bro. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Samuel Ash. I'm born in South Texas, but I've been in Atlanta for 20 years, so this is home. Big fan of everything that Reach is doing, 116 is doing. It's an honor for me to be here with Ace, so thank you for the call.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
And so I tell you, he was gonna be humble, so I gotta add some stats to it. He's a Grammy award-winning producer, y'all. He's an artist. He's pretty much an exec in his own right. Always cultivating Latin culture in Christian spaces. And yeah, super fun person to work with. I feel like we've known each other longer, but we haven't worked together enough. So this is like a beginning of a new journey.
Yeah,
so.
Man, it's exciting. We've known each other for a while, so
yeah,
the fact that we're finally getting to put some working together is amazing, bro.
I know, it's kind of been overdue.
Yeah, way overdue.
And so for the people who are curious when I say Grammy, can I just ask you how many of them is it, or how many noms?
No,
okay.
I mean,
okay.
Well,
one or two.
A couple nominations, yeah.
Couple nominations.
And we won one, so.
That's amazing.
Glory to God, man.
Shout out God. Shout out God. Humble flex. To my right, go ahead, bro.
What's up, guys? I am Mr. Sinvergüenza.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, right after humble flex, that was amazing.
My name is Tommy Royale.
Yeah.
A little Puerto Rican kid from Orlando, Florida. You know what I'm saying? Humble to be here with y'all.
You can't
today.
be humble now. You can't start out strong and then go humble.
Yeah, you gotta be consistent.
Like, yeah, bro. Hey guys, I'm Tommy Royale.
I feel it, man. Glad to have you, man. And then to the right of you, go ahead.
Alexander de Bayamón, Puerto Rico, representando.
Papi.
Bro, ¿tú eres de Bayamón también?
Claro que sí.
Bro, me too.
Los mejores de Bayamón, claro que sí.
Yeah, I feel
We're
that.
from the same town.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yo creo que 90% of us are
Actually,
from
100%. If you're a rapper and
Bayamón.
from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
What's the town so people can
Bayamón en la casa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like
Bayamón.
most people who do music from that town. Is it like the Atlanta of like this, like
just a little more violent, but yeah.
Oh shoot!
Surprisingly.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I don't know.
Salí a coger. I'll say it in English because
Sure.
I went out to get signal. I was texting I was at my grandma's house, and then I went out to get signal, and you know everything en la montaña se escucha todo, and I just hear. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back inside. I don't need to send this message.
Yo, I've heard some stories about Puerto Rico, and sometimes my stories that I hear are from like the classic American tourist side, but they're always like a mention of like there's a side that you don't want to go to if you ain't from there. So we could dig more about that later. But yeah, I think it's just really good to have y'all, man. I think obviously the elephant in the room for people who are watching, like we're not perfect. We definitely try to do the best we can. But one thing I can pride myself on and the team here at Reach is we really want to celebrate and participate in diversity. Not like a stat sheet, something you do, but just really amplify people from other voices, from other cultures. Because I feel like me and Alexander were talking about this earlier today. I think sometimes in American Christianity, and no shade, but more so just a caution, I feel like the microphone can be shared from other places, right? Other voices can carry that torch, can carry that message, and I just want to make sure we do a good job of just shining light on the other cultures that are. Being unashamed about the gospel, being about culture, making dope music and so forth. So to kind of kick that off, man, I think it'll be good to kind of hear a little bit about like how you got into music, like how this all started. Even each of y'all, as short as we can, we got a few minutes, but just a little bit about why you chose to do what you do, how you got here, and kind of a little bit of backstory.
For sure. First, I want to give props to Reach because what you're saying about diversity and about just checking off the list, like you guys, I see it from the behind the scenes that you guys. It stems down from leadership. You guys have, your staff is diverse, and all that affects the music and the outcome of things. So props to you guys, man. You guys are doing a great job on that.
Man, thank you. We try.
It's amazing.
We couldn't do it without, obviously the dope people that's actually here. So yeah, man, Samuel Ash, man, like how'd you, I'm like a producer's producer. How did you get into music? Like,
Bro.
where'd you start? How'd you get into the church? Like, how?
Bro, I mean, I grew up in church. Basically, my dad was a minister, pastor, so PK. You know what I mean? So I grew up in it, and I got bit by the music bug, and that was a wrap. You know how that is, man.
About what age was that?
I'd say like 8.
Okay, you got bit early.
Yeah, early.
I
And
feel
then
you.
when I was like 15,
Yeah.
I did my first tour. I was playing keys for a local artist, and we did like a 3-week tour. Came back, he paid me like $300.
At 15?
At 15, I was like, I'm rich, bro.
Oh, man.
That's it. I'm never getting a regular job ever again in my life.
That's why. Is that why you charge so much? You've been getting paid early. Just kidding. I had to throw
Look
shot.
who's talking.
Hey, come on, no, he's worth every penny. The guy, I love
There's
this
so
guy.
much shade on that side.
Yeah, I know.
No, this is definitely gonna be like a little bit of back and forth throughout the conversation.
Let's go,
Lord,
man.
forgive me.
Yeah,
But
man.
that's amazing. So
Yeah,
you
man.
kind of just
I grew up in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been awesome, man.
tell me about the artists you work with. Like, just so people can hear like just the. I know you're being
Bro,
you're not even trying to. You're just being kind of shy about it. But I think it's good for people.
Yeah.
To hear like the depth of the stuff that you've touched. I think it's really important.
Yeah,
you know?
it's kind of all over the place. I've done stuff in the hip hop scene for people like
right.
Jeezy and T.I. and Boozy, to worship stuff for people like Miel San Marcos, to there's a lot of other to
Social
Danny
Club.
Goki, Social Club.
Right.
In the Latin space, Redimidos, like it's all over the place.
That's
So
amazing.
it's been a blessing that I've been able to work with all these people.
I think that's super dope that you've touched so many different things. It kind of is a testament to your just your taste, and specifically, I want to kind of focus on the Latin space.
Yeah.
Like even as we bring you guys into the conversation, why and is it so important for you to kind of reflect your heritage in the music? And tell me, like, even like as we're sitting here, why is it
Yeah.
so important, and how's that a big part of you as a producer? and
Well,
as a
I mean,
musician?
I think it is who I am, man. It's a part of me. I feel like it just naturally, that's what comes out of me. But I also think it's part of me. I love to inspire and motivate people who come from where I come from.
For sure.
That's super important to me. And I think representation is huge. So
Sure.
I try to do my best to be that.
That's super dope. I mean, speaking of Preacher's Kid, Alexander, I think I don't know if you
Yeah.
were a Preacher's Kid too, Tommy, but
Grandson.
okay, so it's like 3 Preacher Kids on the
close.
set.
Yeah, no.
Talk to us about like when did you get your music? When did the music?
My
bug
background
get
is
you?
super similar to Samuel's. Yeah, I grew up. My dad is Luis Santiago. El mejor, la
Hey,
mejor
let's
voz.
go.
Ya tú
He-
sabes.
bro, his dad's
Hey.
an icon in the Spanish.
That's what I've been hearing. I'm
no,
so
he
green.
really is.
Yeah.
He really is iconic, and that's a big step to try to surpass or even match.
Sure.
And so I didn't want to do it. So like growing up, I was just like completely in denial about music, ministry. I was just like, it's just a lot to take on. It's gonna take years. It's gonna take a lot of effort. My dad would travel a lot. I was never able to see him, and I was just like, I don't want that for my kids. And obviously, you grow up and you realize like how important their job was and like how they were doing, what they were doing, and how it affected people. They saved, they reached millions of people. And I was like, okay, this is really important. This guy is my hero. I need to do this. And you answer to the calling.
So when you were younger, you maybe didn't understand like the gravity of his job. He was like essentially, it's fair to say, like a famous Latin Christian artist, essentially.
Yeah,
famous is a
Latin Christian artist. Yeah, one of the biggest ones. And
that's amazing.
And yeah, it was hard to live with that, and I was rejecting that. And then you mature and you grow up and you realize like, dang, this guy has reached millions of people.
Right.
I was being self-centered, and everybody has to have their own encounter with Christ, and that's like when, as that was happening, that's when that voice became louder and that calling became even stronger, and I was like, okay, I need to respond because, my ego's dying, and I'm opening my eyes. I'm realizing how important this is.
I think maybe also you were looking at him as just your dad when you were a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
And now that you're older and you're an artist yourself, you can see
the sacrifice. I'm like, I'm like,
You're
man,
trying
like,
to balance the artist and the
I was like,
family.
how come the power's out sometimes at the house, but not at church? You know, how come
that's real.
we got to sleep at our grandparents for a couple weeks or a few months, but you know, the church is running fine, or he's traveling and I'm over here, and it's like, and then once you realize what that life and that calling is about, and it's hard. And now that I'm in that position, I'm like, I need to show my kids how important this is.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't want to make them go through something like that, but at the same time, it's like it was beautiful. Now that I've came to the realization of
that's
how
a
deep it
crazy
is.
your perspective. Just I think being who you are in it. That's a pretty like fresh revelation that you were able to see that. And obviously, you know, you may have ran, but man, when you hear this guy's music and you haven't heard, I mean, you're gonna be like, I'm sorry, but you were born to do this. You know what I'm saying?
And then as far as music, actually, I loved listening to music.
Right.
But I just started making music, really. I've been a songwriter. I love writing songs. I've been doing that since I was a kid. But as far as making music myself, it's been like 2-3 years now. So
Damn.
yeah.
Sound like you've been doing it a lot longer. What about you, Tommy? I mean, what got you into music? I guess even Christian, sometimes I think people forget that how talented the people are in our space, and it seems like we could be doing anything else, but we chose to use our gifts in this way. Like, talk about how you got into this. And why?
Yeah, man. I think it's, and you mentioned it too about it being like your identity, right?
Sure.
I have a really young mom. My mom had me. She was 17 when she was pregnant with me. Had me at 18. So growing up, she was just in Puerto Rico, like she was just listening to rap. That's what she was. So at a young age, I just liked music. I liked hip hop, I liked rapping. So that came into the picture. Like I was just growing. I just grew up liking music, right?
Right.
Wanting to do music. I had my influences like huge. Like Funky was a huge influence for me. Vigo
Shout out
Singh,
Funky.
shout out Funky.
Yeah.
Shout out Vigo. Like there were huge influences. Manny is the one that really got me. Like I was like, yo, I need to rap like this guy. You know. And the reason why it was them and not other rappers is because like I was also raised in the church, right? Around
through your moms, or like what?
So when we moved from Puerto Rico, we went to Pennsylvania. From Pennsylvania, and my mom was a single mom at the time. From there, she went to Orlando, and we just we needed help, and we found. I don't know. I was young at the story, but I think my pastora was my grandma. Now at this, you grow up with someone. Pastora. She helped
You're gonna learn
her.
Spanish
She helped
today,
us.
bro.
Yeah, you're gonna learn Spanish.
You'll say. Okay, go ahead.
But she was helping the family, and through that, we just naturally started going to the church. I forgot how we got connected with them, but essentially, it was raised in a church. I think like at 6, I was already there. At 11, I was a youth leader. You know what I'm saying? Like I was preaching on Sundays at 13. You know, so like I was in the cut. So liking music, being raised in church is just like. It just made sense, you know? And I think the representation, going back to that question, is important also because it's like, I think people need people that look like them, right?
Yeah,
like there's a
100%.
lot of different music,
totally agree.
there's a lot of different sounds, right? But I think the ones that resonate the most are the artists that look like me, right? Who I like to listen to. And I think that's why a lot of people were able to connect with the music that I make. It's like, I look a certain way. Like I don't look like, I look like people who they listen to, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I think that has helped
you
too.
look amazing. I ain't gonna lie. I can't
I
pull
can
that
only
off.
see your top half right now, so I don't know where your legs are at.
Oh yeah, I'm floating toys.
Hey, leave him alone.
The camo.
Okay, that was
but yeah, man, I think it was just really natural. And I had a recent. I was talking to Samuel about this not too long ago, but man, the album dropped.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if we're gonna dive into the album.
But go ahead. Yeah.
The album dropped and it did really well. Right, it's my debut album. It hit #2 in the Latin charts. So it was not even the Christian charts, like Latin. Right, it was Becky G, Tommy Royale. So it was really exciting. But then from there, it was like, oh, we got to switch it up because now labels are looking, not Christian labels, other labels. You know, so like, all right, good. So then we start writing music where I'm like, let's get a little more ambiguous with the songs. And after like a few months, bro, I finished a whole my second project that we finished in 2 months. And the entire time I felt anxious and I was trying to make things happen. And I felt anxious and like things aren't budging. And I think in December it hit me where God was like, bro, why are you trying to change what's working? You know? And it was a really big like, oh God, okay, I see, I'm sorry moment, right?
That's fine.
So we were talking about like I had this project that I had. A lot of songs are being scrapped. Some songs are being like I'm releasing a few of them, but like a lot of them are just because I was like, this isn't me. Yeah, but going back to the identity aspect of it, like the reason why I do music the way I do as a Christian is because like even when I try to change it, I'm denying my identity because my identity has been cemented in the church. You know what I'm saying? So
no, bro, I respect that a lot because a lot of artists in our space, their testimonies usually like I was from the street, but God changed me and now I'm here now. But your testimony is right now. Like, you know, you're like I just fell like, you know, a few months ago. You're like, but I'm getting back up, and that makes it
which
so
is the
sick.
story of so many people, but just they don't talk about it.
But they don't tell it because we have to maintain that
this
perfect
image.
persona.
I think the transparency and going back to the thing, it's a whole transparency thing. Like it's very like people like that. People respect that.
There's representation.
There's
representation.
real.
Yeah,
100%.
That's so fire. I mean, essentially, we all grew up in the church, all of us, which is not always the case in Christian space. And I would love to dive back into this conversation more to hear more about the project you recently put out, Alexander, even your last project and how you arrived at where you are now. So stay tuned. We're going to take a little quick break. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris, with some amazing people. Be right back. Welcome back. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris, and I'm here with
Samuel Ash.
Tommy.
Hey.
Alexander.
Hey,
I need like a melodic tagline. Mine's super basic. Samuel Ash. Tommy. Alexander.
You got to play your tag.
I'm going to just carry it on my phone.
You got to bring Jay Khalid.
Yeah, I got Jay Khalid with me.
You should get them to do a tag.
Yeah, it's so dope, bro. I love that tag.
Bro,
you should get them to do a tag for you. That's what you should do.
He did it at the end of the first song we collabed on. And I took it. I'm like, that's mine.
Oh, yes,
Oh, you did?
That's your future.
No, it was a Jake Lil.
Right.
Metro Boomin.
Shout out Jake Lil, super dope Latin artist, man.
Oh, man, it's so many dope.
Yeah, Jay's fire, bro.
Jay's
y'all got to put me on. I feel like I'm just getting hip to all the many dope artists. I mean, one of my first instances to you, Tommy, was you were on the first Reach Records summer playlist.
I didn't know it was the first.
It's 2018. It was coming in hot. It was RG Courtside, Fuzu Atlanta, and then KB Champions, I believe.
Yeah.
The
remix, right?
The remix.
No, Champions. I was on Champions.
You was on Champions.
I was on Champions.
Okay, sorry. So I'm sorry. You were on the remix to No Change, which is 2019.
Yes.
And who else was on there with you? That was
I promise. Eliu.
I forgot. Alexander knows.
Yo, Alexander's a real one.
I'm a real Reach fan.
Bro, he knows the records better than me.
Bro, I'm so sorry. That year was a lot.
This is not a good moment for me. We're just gonna fast forward through this. But one thing I do know that you were a part of heavy was Sin Vergüenza.
Yes.
And you were obviously all over that. Shout out Kardec, no apologies.
Yes.
Another amazing producer in our space.
For sure.
And then you were on the Live Forever record in 2020. That was fun. That was fun.
Bro, everybody shot their own like clips. It was like a giant FaceTime call. That was fire.
That whole song and video came together like in 3 days.
Yeah.
It was super fun. But yeah, I think it's been good to have you around and
that whole song came together in 3 days?
Bruh, it was like normally on 116 day, generally because of me, I'm running behind and I don't turn in the record.
Hey man, that's big of you to like admit it.
Yeah, bro. I feel like this is like a therapy session right now.
The first step is acceptance.
Confession, then repentance.
You're in a safe space, bro. You're good.
Oh, thank you. I feel like I'm amongst family, man. You know what I'm saying? But like, I generally turn in the music. Normally, you're supposed to have the bounces in by like top of December. I don't think that bounce got completed to like for January 1st or something crazy, which is not a good enough time.
Yeah.
And then we shot the video through the iPhone concept. It was amazing, but it was quick. But enough about that. I want to hear more about Alexander, your project, man. I was just scrolling. Actually, it's a cool story. I was actually scrolling, listening to your music, Tommy.
Let's go.
Listen to your. I think it's Fama Ife.
Yes, sir.
And
you look Dominican.
And I was put some respect on the kid. And it wasn't like I was intentionally looking, but I was like kind of casually browsing. Like I sometimes go to Spotify. You probably do this too as an exec.
100%.
You go like artists that sound like or artists like.
Yes.
And I came across Alexander's music, and that's how I came to you.
Let's go.
And I was listening to your album. It had the green cover. I think it's self-titled.
Yeah. Alexxander.
So talk to us about like how that project came in, because it ain't gonna lie, it brought me in a way that I was immediately like hooked. I was like, this kid's amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Honestly, that album I co-produced it with Doza and Timbro. Doza, old friend of mine. He's
shout out Doza and Timbro.
Yeah,
man.
bro. Young legends. Timbro is amazing as well. That project, I really wanted to talk about mental health and just the process that I was going through at the time. And very much like Tommy was talking about his testimony, how like, you know, he's like, I got on the charts, me descarrié, no sé cómo decirlo en inglés, I'm sorry.
Went off the rails.
Yeah, I got derailed, but then I came back. That's kind of where I was at that moment. Yo también estaba pasando por un proceso, and I just felt like I needed to air it out. And that album's it's very crude and about mental health and just very honest, very transparent.
Which, by the way, in Spanish Christian culture is taboo. People don't
really
address that.
Absolutely.
Especially, they
right.
Why
yeah, I
is
forget
that?
that y'all have the privilege of having like Lecrae, Minio, like you guys are airing yourselves out through albums all the time, but in our space, that's very taboo. That's not very common.
What's the reason for that, Sam?
I think in the culture is just like you suppress it. You just
even
don't talk about it.
Even the genre, even the speaking about things like that in the genre, because it's, you know, rap used to be like that, where it was very manly, and then Kanye came in with the pink shirts and then in our space that hasn't really happened yet, and we're kind of doing something.
That's interesting.
I wonder if I'm like, as you're saying it, I'm thinking through it, and I'm like, I wonder if because like the idea or the concept of Christian music in the Spanish space is only if you're mentioning the name Jesus, or it's like this is what Christian music is in Spanish. Anything outside of that box is not Christian music anymore.
I think, and that's a roadblock that I hit as well. I don't know if you guys, maybe from the outside, I think because a lot of the music is very, again, I come from CHH.
Yeah.
So my music is very CHH influence in Spanish, right? So I think the thematics of the tracks that I write, it does well here. But sometimes if I don't mention a lot of Jesus on the tracks, like you said, it could get people are like, is this? I don't know. You're not talking about Jesus like that. So like, I remember in the beginning of it, bro, I always had to respond. It's like, nah, bro. Like, always asking, like, Tommy, ¿tú amas a Dios? Like, sí, amo a Dios. Like, of course I love God. Like,
no, your faith comes to question constantly, and some people are like, well, I can't take it. You know, I'm moving on. Or some people are like, I honestly want to answer to that calling and be an example and just and show people that have that mentality that we can speak about these subjects and we need to as a church, as a body.
I feel like that's a dilemma of the whole of Christian music versus a Christian who makes music. It's like,
I do want to.
What's the wrestle? We'll go ahead.
No. And I say this with lots of respect because I'm in this genre, so I could say this, right? I feel like a lot of the genre, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, I think a lot of the culture in that genre is a few years behind. So I think, I don't know if you guys agree. You could please fight me or argue if you guys.
You're getting canceled.
No, it's an opinion.
The cancel button is queued up.
And I don't even mean sonically. I don't think sonically because people like you, people Kardik as well, like and myself, and we have a lot of good artists that are sonically are pushing it forward. But a lot of the mentality, like I'm really happy that Willie, like Redimido, just released a song about mental health. And I think that's gonna help, hopefully, open that gate of like, all right, we could start talking about this. I think it's just it's weird. I feel like it takes a big person to kind of like step into it.
It does, but I think that's where you, artists like yourself, myself, and are finding our success as well. It's like kids are like, all right, well, where am I represented? Where do I go? Because like I struggle with this, but these top guys are perfect. You know, their image is perfect. So where do I go? And so, you know,
and shout out Funky and Redimido. I mean, always those guys, like I would say, one of the pioneers in Latin Christian music. And it seems like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you guys are ushering like a new class, a new energy that's kind of resonating. Because I mean, when I first heard your music, Alexxander, even when I first heard your stuff, Tommy, I mean, Alexxander, immediately I was like, his tone is fire. It's raspy. It's fresh. It's progressive, and the production bed is not like the typical Latin Christian. It's just different, and that's what kind of drew me to it. Why don't you talk about why it's important? Not even just the concept, but even sonically, like embodying that progression in the music. Why is that so important as like, you know, in the Latin Christian space and making music?
Yeah, no, I think that I really, when I went into creating music, when I wanted to do music after I decided, you know, I want to follow what my dad was doing, I said I want to be, first I tried being like my dad, and my dad has like one of the best voices, and mine is nasally and it's raspy, like you said, it breaks easily. And I was like, you know what, I saw that as a weakness, and then I realized that was a gift from God, and I was like, I'm gonna take advantage of that. And I started experimenting, and my thing is not trying to be the best singer like my dad was, but really try to be very unique, very different, create fusions, and that's what's helped me stand out. Just trying new things in the music.
Absolutely, bro.
Mixing,
and when I first heard
genres.
Tommy, when you first got on records, bro, you just come on a record like you're just trying to like punch somebody in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could. He comes in, he just attacks, and I just feel like when you mentioned earlier, like you said, your reggaeton, your Latin Christian music was more from a CHA space. Now, when you say that, I didn't really think about it. I'm like, oh, I hear you almost attacked the record like a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to us about like the importance of your style and what you're bringing to like the space.
I don't know, bro. I feel like it's different. It's authentic. I think that's the best way to put it. It's me. I'm not the best singer either, right? I love singing. I was raised in a family of, it's me. I was raised by women, right? It's me, my two sisters, and my mom. They all sang. My sister was in singing classes her whole life, right? So I always I love singing, but I don't got the voice for it. Right?
No, you got a voice. You got the voice for in your own way.
But I found that balance of like, how can I sing to where it feels like grunge is cool? But all that to say, like, I think just finding a way to be authentically me. I don't know. I just doing the most of the voice that I got, right? Like, and I think you were saying that just finding your voice instead of like trying to be someone else. And I think in the beginning is also, it's hard. I think most artists are like influenced by this. I'm going to sound like this guy. Yeah. And like you start like evolving.
Especially in our space, a lot of people see it as I'm going to be the alternative. Like I'm going to be the Christian Bad Bunny or I'm going to be the Christian this. And then we put ourselves in a box.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think what's cool about you.
He's Tommy Royale, I'm Alexander.
And I think it's
talk that talk, man.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, people sometimes hit me up. It's like, oh, you're like the Christian. I'm like, yeah, but better.
Whoa.
I love the Lord. So no, but it's true. It's just I think the biggest thing is finding who you are.
Because I mean, on your album Find My Faye, the Miami track, like the production is not like what you would consider like, you know, when you think about Latin or reggaeton. It's progressive, and I'm like, yo, this is fresh to me.
Yeah.
Even on your records, man, I feel like you have a lot of rock, and I mean, that's why it's really dope to see you guys work together. Because Sam, you just bring, like, you have a pop sensibility. That's like, you know how to like bring the best out of like this rock and this raspy tone that you say, oh, I don't sound like my dad, but it's something special there.
Working with Samuel was amazing.
It's different, isn't it?
It was amazing.
He spoils you, right?
I love that. I told him, like, I just love how you work with such excellence, because like I would send him, he's like just a producer that just matches your energy. Like I was writing fast, and he was producing just as fast as I was writing, and like I was trying to keep up with him, he was trying to keep up with me, and we just pushed each other until the song was done in a few days, and it was amazing.
I mean, that's so dope. I definitely want to get into this on the next segment.
Guys,
we're going to have to do a whole. We got to break down this record. No, go ahead.
My love language is words of affirmation, so you guys are filling up my tank heavy right now.
That's why he stopped talking. He's just in the back.
He's just
I'm
like,
just receiving this.
No, that's so. I mean, I think I want to pin a pin on this because I want to definitely get into how the De Camino record came together.
Yeah.
On the 116 playlist. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I am your host, Ace Harris. I'm back with some amazing people. My man, Sam Ash.
Yes, sir.
Tommy Royale, Alexander. Stay tuned and hear how we got into the De Camino record, which is some of the people in the office's favorite record. Maybe mine too.
Shout out D.
Shout out D. Diaz.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris, and I'm here with
Samuel Ash.
Tommy.
Alexxander.
Damn, bro. I really
We got to do our tag.
Oh, yeah, Sasha.
No,
Te veo bien dura.
all right, I'm done. No, but shout outs, you, Sam, man. You obviously a Grammy nominated and Grammy Award winning producer. I don't say that lightly. And you're recently like a Grammy governor on the governor board. Talk to us about what that means, and then how you're using your platform to work with
Governor.
Like, other artists. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Pay your taxes, brother.
My bad. Yeah.
Bro, I'm being
me different,
considered
bro.
by the word. Like,
Never talk to him nice. Talk to him
me
different.
nice, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, man, it's an honor to be part of the Recording Academy and be elected as a governor of the Atlanta chapter. Shout out to the whole chapter. Bro, it's God, man. God puts me in these places and he gets the glory through everything. I feel like I'm in these spaces for a reason. I feel like I'm trying to be a bridge for my community, be a voice for the people that don't have one, help impart knowledge to my people, and raise questions and conversations in these rooms that haven't been raised before. And I think representation is huge and is so important. And that's what I'm trying to be in these spaces, man.
That's phenomenal,
Yeah,
bro. And you're obviously using your platform to do that and creatively. Tell me why it's important to tap in with like younger artists, newer artists, because you've worked with a lot of like heavy hitters. But I always think it's dope when producers of your stature, your caliber, tap into the culture to kind of see what's sizzling up. Like these guys are, I feel like,
100%.
kind of like the new leaders of the new Latin Christian space, to be honest.
100%.
So why was it important for you to work with like the up and coming people? That's killing.
Bro,
it.
I think it's huge. I was excited to work with Alexxander and Tommy. I love both of them as people, as I've gotten to know them, which is huge, man. But I think it's important because one, if you don't, the industry and the sound stays stagnant. That's one.
Facts.
Two, when you get to a certain position, and I'm not trying to say I'm at this position or I'm whatever better or higher than anybody at all. I'm just saying like once you get to a certain place, I feel like it's your job to help other people and do what you can to elevate.
That's totally true. Yeah,
I think that's you should do. So that's what I'm trying to do. If I can help in any way, that's what I want to do. That's what we should be doing.
I love that. I mean, how does it feel, Alexxander and Sam, to be on, even you, how does it feel for y'all to be on the 116 Summer 23 playlist this year with this record? Like, talk about this record, this feeling. How does it feel?
dude, it feels amazing. And honestly, I've been a fan of 116 my whole life. Like it's just surreal. Walking through the offices today, meeting everybody, like it's just been amazing.
That's
It's
amazing,
been amazing.
bro.
And the record sounds so good, and I love that. I think we're the only Spanish record on the playlist.
Wow.
And I think that's great. I think we just stand out so much, and this record is really important. It does have a really important message, and it's just awesome.
That's amazing. What about you, Tommy? Like, how's it feel?
I'm stoked. I'm excited, bro.
Tommy's
Like,
a veteran, though.
No,
He's
Tommy's
before-
an OG.
I do want to say this though.
Yeah.
I think, and I could be wrong. I might be forgetting one song, but the times that I have been on the playlist have been remixes.
Yeah.
So this is
Whoa.
I consider this my first single
Like a
that
track,
I have it on.
like
That's
a
real.
official-
That's
Yeah.
real. That's a
So-
good. Hey,
come
on.
De
Wepa.
Camino. Hey,
Wepa.
so I think that's super dope. I mean, how do y'all feel about the playlist in general? Like, what does it mean to y'all? Because and this is not for you to gas me up while I'm here, but just more so for
sure.
people to hear as the fans. Like, why is it important? For the space. You know what I'm saying?
I think you guys are doing something cool. I like how you guys are changing it. This year's different than what
Sure.
last year was. Last year was different than the previous year.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I like how you guys are doing it this year, and you guys, the constant evolving of it is
Sure.
really cool because you guys are testing things out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you guys, Reach is the spearhead of this
100%.
culture.
Yeah.
Right?
dude.
So whatever you guys do, it works. You guys do it again, we're watching. You know what I'm saying?
gotcha.
The other artists are watching, like, oh, shoot, that's cool that you guys did. So I think that helps the culture grow
Right.
Yeah.
a lot. And going back to the stagnant thing, like it keeps it from being stagnant.
Sure.
It keeps it from
Yeah.
dying.
It's tough. It's tough to do something 6 years.
Yeah.
And it be fresh with anything.
Yeah.
With
No, but it's
anything.
cool because you guys,
Yeah.
and you guys know when there's an established company, where there's something already established, it's hard to do something different
Facts.
because it's working.
Because it works.
You know what I'm saying?
You're like,
So why change it?
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys are
I was
taking
just
the
gonna say
risk
that,
to
bro.
change it
Yeah.
is dope because you guys also have the resources to do it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And
So
every year it's new artists. It's like I've never had this opportunity.
That's true, yeah.
You guys are giving me a crazy platform to to get my music out there.
Sure.
Such amazing exposure to bring the gospel, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a nice moment of discovery for new listeners. I mean,
Facts.
obviously, some of our fans, like when I was in Orlando, I was at the Unashamed tour Orlando 2019, and in person, and I saw the fan base, and it definitely changed my.
Orlando's crazy,
bro. I pulled up, bro. Kid you not, and I'm like, yo. This is black and brown people, like by the droves.
Let's go.
And I'm like, yo, they're here. The Spanish-speaking community, the Latin community is uno seis. They've been supporting what we're doing. And we have, of course, shed the spotlight in moments, but I'm like, we haven't done enough to say, hey, yo, we see y'all. Hey, this is not our thing. This is all of our thing, right?
Sure.
And it changed my perspective, and that kind of led to the Sinvergüenza project and me being more intentional about bridging the gap. I wouldn't even say bridging the gap. What's happening in the Latin Christian culture and music is already happening.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, American, or hey, Reach Records, hey, church,
Yeah.
you want to be involved? Or you want to miss what you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to sit on the sideline and watch what's already happening, create space and cultivate and grow, or you want to just sit back. And I think I said, you know what, we should help amplify what's already going on, because it was a moment. And I think in your music is like predominantly it's all Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
And you're unashamed about that.
Yeah.
No pun. It's like that's amazing.
yeah.
So go ahead, jump in. I know I'm saying a lot.
not to gas you up, but like
Yeah.
you're basically a curator of the playlist.
Yeah.
And
Let's gas him up. Let's gas him up.
and, yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
Let's
words of
go.
affirmation.
Gas him up.
nah, man. I love the heart and the it's 116. You were very intentional when you hit me up. You did discover me out of nowhere, but you were very intentional with the phone call you gave me. You were like, I want to get to know you. I want to get to know your heart before we talked about a record, about any opportunity or anything like that. And I think that's super important for the space that we're in, you know? And sure, the exposure is great, the platform's great and all that, but like just the fact that you got to know me personally, my ministry, my heart.
Sure.
And you were like, yeah, this you can represent, the body, you could represent 116. What do you have to say? And you're amplifying my voice. It's awesome.
That's amazing. I mean, it brings me joy to even have this record, and I think people would want to know because it drops. It's already out now, and I think people would want to know. Oh, it's out tonight. Sorry. Yeah. People would want to know how this thing came together. Like, I can give you a little bit of backstory, but I think it's important. Sam, just kick it off.
Yeah,
like,
but
go ahead.
all right, okay.
So
Well, it started with a phone call.
Okay.
From Ace.
Okay.
I see my phone ring. I see Ace. I'm like, he must have the wrong number.
That's cat.
I think he was trying to call Hulvey, and then he just accidentally called me. So I pick up. I'm like, Ace? He's like, bro, we're finishing up the summer playlist. We want a Latin smash on it. He's like, I'm thinking of some ideas. He's like, but what do you think? Is there any artists out there that you think would be fire? And I'm like, yep. I know just the guys. And I threw out y'all's names, and he's like, I love it. And I was like, I have this idea for this type of track. He's like, run with it. Like the fact that you gave me so much freedom and so much trust was everything, bro.
Yeah.
So it just let me feel like, okay, let me do my thing. And you were just like, yeah, run with it. So I started an idea. I sent it to you just to see like, hey, are you messing with this? And then you took it from there. And then you're like, yeah, go for it. Then I sent it to Alexander that same night.
Yeah.
Yes. Dang.
I think either that same night or the next day.
Yeah, no, the same night. We already had the hook. Yeah.
Bro, it happened within less than 24 hours.
That's
I
why
had a demo for you.
Yeah, it's true.
With less than 24 hours, I had the demo for you.
We were pushing each other like crazy. Like you sent me the track, I sent you a demo. You were like, "Yep, sounds good. Change this, change that. Okay, here you go."
Yeah.
And it was polished and good within 24 hours.
Wild, bro.
I did kind of call you with like it was kind of like, it was one of those calls where it's like, yo, I need something like ASAP.
He did tell me.
And the genre too.
I don't want to make you look bad about the timeline.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely. Here we are. I'm always late, y'all. So
like the drums were different at the beginning in the demo.
Yeah.
Like the bass demo, and then I love how it turned out. I love how it came out.
Yeah.
So that was.
I think it was one of the things where like I was about to have a newborn, and I was trying to get this record in the funnel before I can kind of tap out because I was going to be off the grid. And to be honest, I called you for one of two reasons. One, I can trust that your creative direction will be fire. I didn't have to second guess it. Number two, I just know some people, you know, you call them, and not no shade to some artists as an A&R. There's some people you can call for something, and you're just not gonna get a quick turnaround for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And people are busy. People have stuff going on. There's some people you call when you give them that look. With respect to what they have going on.
Yeah.
They're gonna like give you that look back.
Yeah.
And you're gonna pass them the ball, and they're gonna hit the shot. And that's kind of how it felt. I was like, yo, Sam's gonna kill
Also,
this.
shout out, I don't do any of this alone. I have an amazing team of producers and writers that I work with. Shout out Obrin, shout out Sajin.
Yeah.
Sajin, bro.
Yeah.
That guy, everybody's gonna know about Sajin soon. That guy is
Yo, he's
outta here.
phenomenal. So I wanted to go on paternity leave, like a peace of mind this record was going. It took a few different false starts of figuring out who to get on it. But Tommy, talk about how you got on the record and what you brought to it that just really changed it. Really kind of
Man, start off with the phone call. I was like, Ace, he must be calling Hovey. That's not.
I'm about to walk off the stage.
He ain't trying to call me. Nah, bro, it was, who hit me up first? Was it you or was it? I don't even remember who it.
I can't remember.
All these phone calls. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you're in high demand. You know.
Yeah, apparently.
I mean, you got Bad Bunny. You know.
Bro, it was. I spoke to you.
Yeah.
And you told me the vision, and I liked the song. And we had to get it cleared through a bunch of conversations.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But it went through, and I just heard the track, and I was like, oh, bro, this junk go crazy. This junk go crazy. And I was working on a track with the same drums with the jersey, and I was like, oh shoot, I'm already on this wave. So I think that's when you guys sent me the track, I was like, all right, green light, let's run it. I feel like it was a pretty quick turnaround time, but it was just like,
quick,
I'm on this wave, so let's, And it was cool. Sam, working with you was dope because it was like, it was very freeing, right? Because it was like, you know, when you do a group project and both people are good at something, right? Versus one person's good at something and the other person's like, yeah, you could take care of it,
Facts.
right? Or the other person's like, yo, I got to get this to you, but they're not good at the, you know? So it's cool that I was able to trust you with something like, yo, what if I do this? And you're like, yeah, I'm already on. I don't know, the execution was with excellence. I think that's the word. There's excellence
absolutely.
in it. Because sometimes I get some ideas on the way to do this and I send it to another producer and they do something, I'm like, like, and then you're wondering, is my idea bad or was the execution not done properly?
Trust is important in the creative process.
Yeah, so just being, I feel like we worked seamless in that sense, and I really, and then obviously it was a strong hook right off the rip. So
sure.
It was a lot of fun, bro. I think that's and we forget about this as artists, right? Like after a certain, you start hitting certain milestones is the word I'm looking for. The fun gets stripped away almost, right? And it's like, oh, now it's a job. So and then you forget that, yo, we're in the creative field, so like working this track was a lot of fun.
Man, that's so refreshing to hear. It was fun. And I got to bounce back while I was like, I think the day out of the hospital.
You were.
I called you the next day. I wasn't calling that many people, but I was like, I heard the final bounce, and I was like, run it, send it to mix, here go terms, run it, I'm done, this is amazing. I think the people would want to know, especially for people who don't listen to Spanish-speaking music as much, can you guys just communicate the heart behind the message in the song? Obviously, you know, I'm sonic in taste. I'm really big on how things sound, but I'm even more particular about what it's conveying. Because I think if song's not saying something that, at least for me, is pointing people to see something bigger than ourselves, I don't know how distinct we're being in the culture, right? So we have to convey something that points to something bigger than ourselves. So talk about the heart behind the message of the song, how it fits into the summer playlist, the 116 identity and all that, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know whoever.
No, it fits with the culture that we all have, because we are all in one spirit. And that's kind of what the song entails. It's really, it's being discerning and paying attention to the voice of God and kind of just giving up on trying things your own way and literally being there for God constantly, consistently. Dropping anything and going.
That's fire.
With it,
And not just going, like, what I get from the song is like, when God makes a call, it's not like you being like, all right, God, I'll do it. It's kind of like, you tell me you want me to go there, I'm pulling up 120 on the dash.
Pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal for whatever you ask me to do, I'm pulling up. Like,
that's
that's,
I mean, I feel like God called this song. I mean,
the way it happened, and the way everything aligned, it is not a coincidence. I believe that
it's ordained.
Definitely ordained. I mean, we can clearly go back off these mics and, you know, pat ourselves on the back for the stuff that God has gifted us with. And I'm not here to take away anybody's gifting.
It's glory to
And
God,
but it's really like the fact that he allows us to do this
For sure.
at a high level to give the people some hope and some perspective and some music that helps them see the world differently and live unashamed for God. I mean, I wouldn't want to do this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do it any other way.
Yeah.
And with any other group of amazing people representing your culture. So yeah, I mean, anything else? It's
okay. It's okay.
Hey man, tears, man. Jesus cried. Come on, Jesus, shortest verse in the Bible. Come on,
Bro, let's go.
You know what I'm saying? Anything else y'all want to say before we kind of wrap it up here? Any final thoughts?
De camino out now, bro.
Hey.
Stream that.
You know what? I do have a thought. How can they tell people how they can find you? Social.
good,
I'll
that's
start
good,
with
that's good.
Alexander.
Yeah.
Y'all can find me on all digital platforms. Cheque yo Spanglish. Plataformas digitales. Like Alexander with 2 X's. Alexander with 2 X's. Alexander Música. All over social media.
Yeah, same here. Everywhere.
Yeah, he's Alexander
I'm
Música.
I am Tommy Royale. I am. Not I and M, but I am Tommy Royale on all streaming platforms. Or Tommy Royale, all streaming platforms. I am Tommy Royale on Instagram and on Threads too, bro. Let's run it
Hey,
up.
shout out to Threads.
Shout out to-
You know what I'm saying?
shout out to Zuckerberg.
What a word it's given today. You know, the threads is given,
You know what I'm saying?
given
Come on.
superstar.
Come on, I give away my old cloths, you know.
I love it. What about you, Sam?
Bro, just __ Samuel Ash on all socials. I'm there, Spotify, Samuel Ash, all DSPs. Bro, and thank you for having us, man. Appreciate the time, the platform. Super grateful to work with these young men of God. Talented, man. You guys were a pleasure to work with. I'm looking forward to working on more stuff together. Bro, and I just want to let people know, like, if they're going through anything, hang in there. Persistence beats resistance, and most people are around the corner from a breakthrough, so just hang in there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, well said. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris, and De Camino on the 116. So I'm going to play this out tonight.
Let's go.
Tap in. Let's get it. Appreciate y'all.
Let's go.